Hello people and welcome to another Planetside 2 video. I hope you're all doing good. My name is Matthias and this is going to be my fourth aim and skill tutorial. Now these are all infantry based tutorials and this is the continuation of my 3 former uploads. And if you've missed them, they are in the description below this video. So now one of the things that is really important in a shooter is to get familiar with your weapon. In Planetside 2, when you shoot at range like this, you have to use burst fire. There are many different ways of bursting, and many weapons will behave very differently to one another, so you have to recoil compensate and burst differently depending on which one you choose. Another thing that I haven't really explained, but that I do all the time, is that I move around while I am aiming down sight, and the reason for that is to avoid this. Now I know there's a lot of people that would prefer the laser dot instead of the forward grip, and the way the bases are laid out in Planetside 2, this is completely understandable. The way you engage your enemies when you're fighting over points are normally close quarter combat. I also know that there's a lot of people that just get such a kick of this kind of engagements that they don't really want to do anything else, and that's not a bad thing because as long as you're capturing points, you're most likely going to get into these kind of fights, and it's also one of the more obvious ways of being useful to your empire. Now me personally, I'm more of an aim down sight type player. I always choose the forward grip over the laser dot, and because of that obviously my hip fire is not as good with my weapon, and I prefer to have the opponents at least 10 meters or more away from me. But whatever you choose, it's good if you can handle both things, and figuring out how your weapon behaves both in close quarter hip fire situations and when you aim down sight is well worth its time. So now Planetside 2 has this amazing feature called the VR training room, and if you don't know how to find it, if you're new to Planetside 2 or whatever, just spawn at your empire's warp gate. There's one for each continent, you will always have access to it, and then you just walk up to one of these terminals, look like this. Activate it by pressing E, and then you click on VR training. So now once you enter the VR training area, you will have access to any weapon or vehicle. You can try them out for as long as you like with whatever attachments or upgrades accessible in the game. Lately I've been using this weapon. It's the LC2 Lynx with the forward grip and the night vision scope. I don't use any barrel attachment or any customized ammo. This is also the weapon that is used in any of the gameplay in this video. But just to get a good comparison, I'm gonna start here with track 5. And what I've come to realize lately, especially when I was using the Lynx, is that I have recently started to use a little bit longer bursts than I initially did. I'm still always mixing it up, but there's nothing to lose by using 5 or even 6 bullets in each burst with, at least with the Lynx or the Track 5. Now both these weapons, they recoil both up and to the right, so you have to compensate by pulling your mouse down to the left, obviously. So now I switch to the LC2 Lynx with the same attachments. So now as you can see, and hopefully also hear, is that I switch up my bursts in each individual situation, and that goes for in combat as well. Now there are many different factors that plays into why I do whatever I do in every situation, but one of the things that you saw in the test room there was that if my control is a little bit funky, if I kind of lose my aim a little bit while I'm in a longer burst, I shorten them down until I gain back that control, or if I lose my aim for whatever reason and I have to readjust. So in that situation you could hopefully see and hear that I was using quite short bursts because I had a little bit of trouble to keep my aim on the target, and in the next situation you will see it's a little bit different.
Oh shit.
So now in that second situation my aim was a bit better, and it was an easy target because it was just one obvious target and he was mostly standing still. But however you do this, I mean there are hundreds of different ways of doing it. Just make sure that you don't fire fully automatic in these situations where your opponent is more than like 15 meters away from you. So now it's very important that you get yourself familiar with how the weapon behaves, especially how it behaves in the situations that you find yourself in the most. So now this is the Lynx with forward grip firing fully automatic, and as you can see the spread is quite big. So I will try to use some burst fire as I go to the other side here. I have about the same range, but and I'm also moving around a little bit because it's more similar to how you would actually fight in combat. And by bursting, I get a little bit tighter spread. So now next up, I'm going to try this weapon out with the advanced laser sight, and this is fully automatic. As you can see, at least the first 30 bullets, that made a big difference, but as I was spraying, the spread kind of went out of control. This is if I'm bursting, and as you can see, the advanced forward grip makes a big difference. So now in the VR training room you have all these bots spawning up and you can use them to practice on. And I know that to many people it's a lot harder to keep your aim on the target while you're moving around as you're trying to control the burst and the recoil at the same time. And if you're still having trouble with the stuff that I tried to show you guys in my earlier aim and skill tutorials, then maybe you should wait with this, but I suggest that you get this going as soon as possible. And also remember that switching to your pistol is much faster than to wait for your weapon to reload.
Enemy engineer spotted.
Now, the thing is that once you have gotten yourself familiar with your weapon, you should try to practice a little bit the way you would probably play in-game. This is called peeking. It's very common in any first-person shooter. Now, you also have to keep in mind that in order to be able to see your bullet holes like this, you have to have your texture quality to high, I believe. I have texture and graphics quality to high. Some of them are on medium and some on low. Normally I would keep almost all the graphic settings to low or medium, but since I'm doing all these recordings and all these videos, I found that texture and graphics quality, it kind of just makes the video look a little bit better. Another thing that looks really cool is how I sneak up on a wall like this. I hope nobody told it that I was coming. So now the thing I would like to say about gaming, and I think that goes for everything in life as well, is that the better you are and the more skill you have, the more effort you have to put in to improve even further. And also what you are going to realize if this is something that makes you improve is that you're going to be more and more sensitive to performance. For me, I am able to keep 60 frames per second in all these situations, but it happens in bigger fights where my performance drops to like 55, 50 or sometimes even lower, and when that happens it's nothing but torture. So now in the user options INI file there is a frames per second limiter. I've set that one to 60, and some of these FPS limiters, they are horrible, but the one in Planetside 2 is fantastic. Now in any clone war or esports situation I would prefer to have somewhere around 80 or 90 if I could keep that stable, but with Planetside 2 I am completely satisfied as long as I can keep it at 60 frames per second. So now I really hope this video helped you figure out how to be a better player in Planetside 2. Whether you're this type of a player where you shoot at range like that, or if you prefer to have your opponents close up and personal like that, try to get familiar with your weapon. Try to figure out how it behaves in the situations that is most common to how you play. The next step is of course to figure out how it works in the situations that are not as common. Like if you're a close up and personal run and gun type player, you may want to be able to scope in and shoot at range from time to time. So I'm out with around 150 videos of Planetside 2 by the time of the release of this video, and most of them are categorized in playlists. Please feel free to look around. There are some related videos in the description below this video if you're interested. So yeah, that's gonna have to be all, people. Good luck, have fun, and bye for now.
That was a nice multi-kill. Okay, let's just defend then. I cannot take a max. Can I use? I could use a pocket NG or something.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. Just got the flak armor, so need dying to see for instantly.
Oh, team kill.
Visual on hostile engineer. Enemy map. Spotted an enemy heavy.
One on the ammo tower right there.
Yeah, I got him.
I think
Oh, there's
there's
another
more.
one. Yeah, there's another one.
Hey, he's on.